Hello there and welcome to the Bearded Peacock. It's my channel where we talk all things Leeds United. It's a quick reaction look from me to Huddersfield Town 1, Leeds United 1. It's ended at the John Smith Stadium in a draw in the Yorkshire Derby. And to be honest with you, quick thoughts on it is actually, I'll take it really because it could have been worse. You know what I mean? It was a horrible game to watch, but we'll get into it in this video. But initial thoughts is straight, pretty much after the final whistle, not long since is, yeah, it's okay. Disappointed the you know the winning streak comes to an end. That would have been a record-breaking 10 in a row. We couldn't quite manage it. But we take a point and we have to move on to Tuesday, and we've got to win on Tuesday. It's back at Ellen Road against a Stoke City team that are really, really struggling. We owe them for what they did to us at the Britannia, don't we? So get on with it and get back to winning ways. But for me, this one, 6 changes from the Chelsea defeat in the Cup in midweek. It's pretty much what you'd say from the way we started the year. It's probably the strongest team we could have got. Um, but it didn't work out like that. And sometimes at these lower league, these lower position teams, particularly in the Yorkshire Derby, it does mean more to Huddersfield, I think, than it does to Leeds. And this is the one they look for, and it's the one they were completely up for. And you could tell that they were up for it at the early stages of the game. I thought Leeds should be putting themselves 1-0 ahead in the early knockings of this game, really. I thought Huddersfield very combative and very determined defensively, but they're just old-fashioned, old-school second division players, aren't they? Some of them probably even worse than that. The likes of Tom Lees and obviously Matty Pearson. But we'll get on to these guys in a minute. But Leeds should have put themselves 1-0 up in the early knockings of this match. Glenn Kamara, you've got to take it first time, mate. You really, really have to take it first time. He takes that first time, it goes in the net, basically. He stutters, tries to play in Cree Somerville, and Cree it's a good save, really, from Nichols, but it's difficult for him to put it in from there. Shot was on first time, he should have done it, it would have been 1-0. He didn't, and I thought Glenn had a really, really poor game, actually, I'll be absolutely honest. Yeah, and overall it was just like a sort of it was nothing game, was it? It was a real nothing game. I thought just lots of heavy tackles going in. They were disrupting play, lying on the floor. This, that, and the other, taking a long time over free kicks and all this kind of thing. And we looked relatively comfortable, but we didn't do enough going forward, I didn't think. And it's sort of, we haven't created much, at all. We haven't tested the goalkeeper at all. When it comes to the 45th minute, we're out in the 45th minute already. It just didn't, nothing really seemed to happen in the game. Leeds weren't pushing forward, weren't properly giving Huddersfield a good enough game, I didn't think. And fair play to Huddersfield, who defended when they needed to well, put the bodies on the line, and were hanging in there for a set piece option. And that's what came through in early part of the stoppage time into at the end of the first half. It's Hillick who's actually their top scorer, isn't he? Scored at Ellen Road that consolation goal in the 4-1 defeat, but it was to put them 1-0 up this time. And silly free kick from Nonto, who I didn't think had a good game either. Really silly one to give away right on the byline. He was going nowhere, just trying to shepherd him out, but he pushed him over. He's going to go over, got the free kick. Sorba Thomas curls it in. I thought he was a danger at times. Curls it in. Great leap from Danny Ward, who otherwise I didn't even see him on the pitch. Melier makes a right mess of the save, goes under him, then he sort of flicks back to Healy, who has a simple task of putting it in the net. Leeds United players just stand still on the around him and just watch him blast it in the net for 1-0 right on the end of the first half. Stoppage time was 9 minutes. We couldn't really do much else with it other than obviously they go 1-0 up and you're thinking, oh dear, here we are. It's a really, really scrappy, poor affair, really, isn't it? To be honest with you, they're making it like that we're getting sucked into their game again, and you're thinking, is it going to be like a Preston away where we just get sucked in and can't get that goal to win the game or get that level? And then the game changes again, where Jonathan Hogg obviously could have been off before this, I think. really poor tackle on Somerville to get a first yellow. Could have gone off before that. He didn't, but he did for a blatant. Obviously, it was a ridiculous elbow on Junior Firpo. No reason for it. Ampadu, he was somehow, pleading his innocence. Obviously, the referee had seen it. Ampadu says, "Yeah, get off, son. Off you go." And the referee, agrees with him. It's a second yellow card. Hogg is off. Dirty, dirty player. I don't see why. Well, I do see why they're celebrating so much there, but really, really poor player. And they should have had a couple more. Matty Pearson in the first half scraped down Chris Somerville's leg. If that's a Premier League game and it's gone to VAR, he's getting his marching orders as well. There's one or two others, really, really strong tackles, but that's football, and that's what they're going to do down at their place. Make it hostile, make it with, bad challengers, and we just couldn't play our football, and that's what they wanted, and they got a goal off a free kick, which what they were playing for, and all second half, it's all Leeds United. They're playing on the counter attack, but they can't do it. They're not good enough to do that, and Leeds are very comfortable at the back, knocking it about. But we just couldn't get the impetus. I was screaming at him, make the changes at half time. Really annoyed that he didn't make the changes at half time, but he did eventually on about 60 minutes. And I thought that changed the game again, didn't it? Really, again, where Connor Roberts shows his quality. I thought he changed the game in our favour as well. And we were never in any danger of conceding, again, just off free kicks and corner kicks, but we dealt with them better than we did in the first half, because that was their game. And at the end of the day, we eventually get that little bit of quality where it's played down on our right hand side. Dan James crosses the ball in. Sorry, it was Connor Roberts crosses the ball in, and Patrick Bamford gets ahead of his men for once, and he's got a tap in. On the 66th minute, you're thinking we're going to go again and get in and go and get the winner, but it just wasn't the case. Lots of tippy-tappy playing around the box, couldn't really get much in the way of a clear opportunity. Huddersfield Town packing their penalty box with players, pretty much everybody back, and that's the way it was. We just couldn't break them down, and we've seen it so many times with Leeds, not often this season maybe, but particularly at the start of the season, points dropped where we just couldn't break teams down. It happened again today, and Huddersfield showed nothing really in the second half of any note. In the whole game, really, to be fair, they've got a goal off a free kick, and it's just disappointing to see Leeds drop points. But again, like I said at the top, I probably initial thoughts is I'll probably take the point. I know Ipswich probably will go ahead of us later on today with a win at Plymouth, but let's wait and see. But ultimately, yeah, a real disappointing. But at the end of the day, I'll probably take it because it could have been worse. We could have hammered at the door and end up losing that game 1-0. So at least we did eventually get a goal, and I was under no sort of agitation that we would not sort of hammer home and try and get a second one out. There wasn't, what I'm saying is I wasn't really overly concerned that Huddersfield were going to go and score a second goal and win the game. I think it was all Leeds second half, and we just couldn't break them down. It's one of them games we've just got to brush it off and say, hey, we didn't lose. We've got to put it right on Saturday and get Stoke put to the sword. I believe we will. At Ellen Road, it's a different thing, isn't it? We really play a lot better. Disappointing, but at least it's not far for the travelling fans to go. Let me know if you were one of them in Huddersfield today, and what do you think of the game overall? Any Huddersfield fans as well, I'm sure they're absolutely delighted with that point as well. Fair play to them, they defended well, but that's what they were always going to do and always going to make it hard for us, and we just couldn't break them down. Thanks a lot for watching. Marching on together. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next one.